Hey everybody, welcome back to DuoQueue. Today we're talking about Devil May Cry 5 as part of our Where We Stand series, where we talk about the games in however much detail we want that we play. You can get Devil May Cry 5 for PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and Xbox Series S, and PC. In general, just figured might as well mention them all. That's why I Googled it, because I know I'm going to miss a few. Anyway, let's start off with talking about, well, one of the things that stands at the forefront of my mind, the music. I've always been a fan of rock music, always will be. That's how it is. And I love the music of Devil May Cry 5. I love Nero's theme for Devil Trigger. I love, Nero's theme, Devil Trigger. And I love, who am I kidding? I just love all the music in the game. It really solidifies the tone and captures it, as in you always feel like a badass. And that's just a really cool feeling to have.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm not as big in rock as you are, and I do like some rock, but it's not my all-time favorite type of music, but I do think it's very fitting to the game. I just think it adds an extra layer of flair to the game.
Yeah.
Because the tone fits the game so well, how the game works and how it takes itself, which is not too seriously.
Yeah.
I think it really fits, and I like it all, so I agree with you.
Yeah, it also fits the tone of each character, as well as each of their themes is related to each character themselves. I couldn't really understand some of the lyrics to some of them, but I know Devil Trigger is definitely related to Nero. I'm not so sure about V and Dante's tracks because I'd have to go back and listen to them and whatnot, but I'm pretty sure it's safe to assume that they're also really directly related to them as well. Something else that's really related to them that I really enjoy is the humor of the game. Deion, you could go into that detail.
Well, the humor, I believe, I thought it was good. I think they inserted it at the right spot. I think like the lady with the van, man. The van was super cool. It just comes in, it just twirls, and no matter what, she gets it there. She gets it there, no matter what. I think that part is awesome.
I want to retake my driving exam. I have Nico as my instructor, because clearly she knows how to parallel park without having to ever touch anything else but the spot.
Yeah, freaking awesome. And then she sells your arms for Nero, devil breakers.
Oh,
she spells them to use.
I'm sorry. I really don't want to cut in here, but her theme, her shop theme, I just sit there sometimes. I'm like, this is really chill, and I love it. Like, the game is very intense with its music and whatnot, but that is just I can listen to her theme while I'm driving and just lose myself on the road. It's such a nice song. But sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying that I think I love that that whole part is humorous, and her being there in general is humorous. Mm-hmm. I think it adds to the game, and it's super cool. Something different.
I also like her fangirling over Dante. In general, like I think that's really funny. The hat. I was spoiled to that long before I played the game, but just when Dante started dancing with the hat, I was like, "Yep, this is in line with how he is."
Yes, that was hilarious. And she just Nero, she's completely different, right? Nero, she's just like, "Yeah, here you are."
Nero and Nico have a very brother sister relationship. They just keep giving each other shit, and I love it.
Exactly.
It's great, especially in the end of the game where she's making fun of him because he's trying to be tough, but I'm like, dude, if you gotta cry, just cry. And he's like, devils don't cry. Like, no, I'm pretty sure they cry. No, devils don't cry. Then someone called. I think it was I forgot his the woman from the fourth game that he was his girlfriend, or he's in love with. Unfortunately, I didn't play 4. For some people, that's a good thing. Others, it's not a good thing. But, unfortunately, that was the case. But either way, someone called him, and he said, Devil May Cry. He was like, fuck. Like, well, there you go. That was great.
No, it had multiple moments like that, so it was super awesome.
Yeah. Speaking of characters of the characters in general, each of the main characters in Devil May Cry 5, Dante, Nero, and V, they all have their own different play styles and whatnot. And Deion and I feel same with some of them, and a little different in some other ways. We could start with Dante if you want. So, how'd you feel about Dante's gameplay?
So Dante, I love Dante as a gameplay. You got to keep in mind, for me, this is my first Devil May Cry experience in general, so that's definitely going to influence how I feel. But I just feel like Dante, I like that you switch stances. I like that you switch. He had so many different weapons to choose from, and as you went through the missions with him, he unlocked different weapons, and I just thought that felt so good. I've never played with any of the weapons, right? So for me, it was a whole new experience, and I really just it was slightly overwhelming at first, but once you get the hang of it, Dante just felt so good to play. And then he has a little extra, his demon mode.
Yeah, the double trigger.
Awesome. Yeah. Double trigger, that's what's called. So the double trigger mode, awesome. Then you get like super devil trigger mode right after that, right? So those are both super cool, and I really enjoyed that experience of playing Dante.
Speaking of weapons, remember that part with the nunchucks, the ice nunchucks thing? That boss with the dog? That was a callback to Devil May Cry 3. So in Devil May Cry 3, you get the nunchucks from an ice dog boss and whatnot. And the same thing that Dante does in this game, like, come on, let's go out for a walk. I got you. Come on. Exact same thing, word for word, as Devil May Cry 3. So when I saw that, I was like, they are not doing this again.
Oh, what a callback.
Oh, it was wonderful. Moving on, I want to talk about Nero. Nero... At first, I was a little iffy about him, and I know some people are iffy about like his engine blade thing, where you have to like rev that thing up. I didn't use that a lot in this game, but when I did, it took a little bit of getting used to. I'm like, how much do I have to like rev this thing up before I actually get a charge? Answer: you kind of just rev it for like a moment, and then you get a gauge filled. It's not like you have to match it, but you kind of have to hold it and then let it go. Kind of like a lawnmower, almost, when you're trying to start it. Almost when you're trying to like start it up and it's just being stubborn. But one of the things I really did enjoy is that in this game, Nero loses his demon arm, and it's replaced with a Devil Breaker that Nico makes for him. She makes several of them for him, and there are some favorites I have, but I particularly, whenever I played Nero, I enjoyed the Gerbera, I think that's what it's called, and the Tomboy. The Tomboy I enjoyed for massive damage and whatnot whenever I needed it, but the Gerbera I used for movement. So what I would do a lot of the time is I would be slashing, and I would knock them back, and then I would pull them back with the grappling hook, and then knock them away again, then use the Gerbera to like boost myself at them, and then keeps hitting them, and then I just use that to keep kind of like just relentlessly rushing them. And it was that's a really satisfying feeling. And it's just really fun to send him flying left and right. Whenever I needed to dodge something, I'm like, I can't dodge that normally, so I'm just gonna poof, and like knock myself back and whatnot. And that's a lot of fun. I always got really disappointed when that weapon broke. I'm like, oh,
true.
I like the thing.
Hit on the Double Breaker system. I didn't really understand how it worked for most of the game, but after I understood it, it was awesome. I love the Double Breaker system, and that's probably why I didn't like Nero at the beginning, but I started to figure out why he was the way he was. I think the Double Breaker, from my research, the Double Breaker system is new, was not in 4, and I think it really adds to his gameplay. Like having these different things you can do to him as a customization on his arm, and he has like these different abilities, is super cool. What I don't like about the system is that you have to destroy them, use the next one, and I guess that does balance it a little bit, right? But I would have liked being able to just choose 5, and you can just switch between the 5 throughout that level. I think that would have been a lot cooler system. But it still worked out, and I like how they played onto them exploding. You like kind of explode them as a way as a tactic to distract your enemy or to knock them down. I thought that was cool, but I do wish we could at least switch without destroying them.
I think the way they compensate for the switching is that you can like set them up in when you're in Nico, not Nico. Well, you can do it in Nico's shop or at one of the angel statue things. You can equip different arms. So I guess if you really like one particular arm, you could just be like 1, 2, 3. There we go. You could probably do that, but I also agree that being able to switch between them, because sometimes you're fine with the combo that you set up, but you want to be able to switch between them freely. So I get that.
Well, then, so that's how we feel about Nero, but how about V? So V, for me specifically, I actually like the gameplay of V. I do want to highlight that it was a little too easy. But
yes, that's why I don't like it.
Other than being easy, it was cool. It was just, I didn't think they could get a magic-like character to work in a game like this, and they did. I just thought he was so much fun to play. I love that you can read your little book and then summon this big freaking monster and just like wreck everything. It was great.
Yeah,
so I feel like he definitely needs to be balanced as far as difficulty, but I really liked him. How did you feel about V?
I really love the fact that they managed to make him work in this kind of game. It's different enough where I'm like, okay, I can respect this. But but compared to everyone else where I wanted to be like really aggressive and whatnot, I just felt like as V, while it's cool to let some of the little demon pet things and have them go and like do my bidding, essentially do my bidding and whatnot. But all that really left me to do was just kind of wait around while they hit things, and then I go up and stab them.
I just felt like you wanted to be aggressive.
I did.
A different type of gameplay, right? Like,
yeah, I love the fact that there's actually kind of gameplay, and it's cool. I do enjoy that, but
it is forced though. Like you have to play it. You can't not play it because the game.
It depends. It depends on the level, because sometimes you have those levels where you can pick either Dante, Nero, or V, depending on what level it is.
True.
And typically, I wouldn't pick V.
Yeah, I actually, even though I liked V, I didn't pick V because it was too easy. So I just felt like I was cheating the game. So
fair.
That's where I went with not picking V.
Yeah, as you said, some characters are just easier than others to play, and he is an example of one. You also mentioned that this builds on Devil May Cry in general.
All right, Daryl, you gotta pause. You mentioned.
Yeah, I know.
I told you I messed up that red.
One of the other things I really liked about Devil May Cry 5 is that it builds on the nostalgia of Devil May Cry in general for people who have played the earlier games. I played Devil May Cry 1, 2. I say 2 reluctantly because it's like I only played Dante's portion of that game. Anyone who's played 2 could probably see why I did not play any farther in that game. I played some of 3. I haven't played 4, and I played DMC Devil May Cry, and then I played obviously 5. Now, I feel like they probably thought like, okay, we need a Devil May Cry game that feels more like classic Devil May Cry than DMC Devil May Cry, where we kind of wanted, Ninja Theory to be like, okay, we want you to take this property and go, different with it. While Ninja Theory was like, we kind of want to do what you've been doing, Capcom. No, we want different. Okay, fine. Kind of worked out, kind of didn't. Split opinion. I liked I liked DMC Devil May Cry. But this game, has plenty of callbacks to earlier Devil May Cry games, as well as just the general. You get that feeling of, yeah, I'm home, as you're slaying demons, with this Devil May Cry, and I really did enjoy that bit. Moving along,
we'll talk a little bit about how you learn in this game, and I kind of want to mix this up with the difficulties here. So, Devil May Cry is a new player for me. It's definitely easy to pick up. Like I didn't feel like, oh my gosh, I'm overwhelmed. It's too hard, too difficult. I felt like it was the correct difficulty, minus the revive wars. We'll talk about that later. The correct difficulty and the right gameplay, and you got cooler moves as you got better, right? You got to pull off some cool things. I saw YouTube. I saw some amazing gameplay. That was not me, but it just depends on who you are. You can actually do some really stylish, is what they like to call it, stylish moves later on as you get more advanced and more together. You can kind of pull off some really cool combos, and you unlock stuff as you go, what makes it harder and harder, right? As you learn new skills and you learn how to use them. I just thought they did a really good job of picking it up, easy to learn the character, hard to really master the intricacies of the game. I thought that was really good.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. Like, Devil May Cry is one of those games that's really easy to get into, but it's difficult to master. And a lot of it comes down to timing and switching up your abilities, the skills, and whatnot. I tried to do that with Dante as much as possible, but I found myself gravitating towards certain weapons. Some weapons are not meant for button mashing or aren't meant for combos, but are meant for like transitions and this and other. At least in my opinion, I'm not sure which weapons off the top of my head, but I know some work better in tandem with others, and some you might want to pull up later, like the hat weapon where you're essentially just finger gunning your red orbs. I think that was a really cool item. It felt like a gimmicky one, but I'm all good. I'm all for it. I just thought it was a lot of fun to use in general. But outside of that, in a nutshell, the game is easy to learn, but it's difficult to master, as I said earlier.
100%.
Moving along, I want to talk real quick about the graphics. I know that you have something to say about it.
Yeah. So the graphics. So I played this two ways. At first, I wouldn't know I was recording, so I played this on a TV once, and I played on 4K HDR. Phenomenal graphics, and not only are the graphics phenomenal, the system runs really well it's really well optimized. Like my 1070, and it worked really well. I had no problems playing at 4K HDR at 60 FPS, and then I went back to playing on my PC at 1440p. And I was able to get 60 FPS as well. So it was really well optimized. It just looks great. The colors look awesome. You got the dark areas, the light areas, so the lighting is really good. I just thought the graphic fidelity of the game was outstanding, especially with how optimized it was. It was just really impressive to me.
Yes, I really agree with that as well. I loved the fact that they were able to do this with the Resident Evil engine, the RE engine, because I didn't know at first that that's what this game was running off of. I was like, when I heard that, or at least what I saw by the time I booted it up, like, oh, it's the RE engine. Wait, this is the RE engine, i.e. the same thing that ran Resident Evil 7 and the 2 remakes. Are you okay? Let's see how this works, and by golly, it works. It just works, and
yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, stunning. Yeah, absolutely stunning. Now let's go ahead. Sorry, we're moving on to accessibility with the difficulties settings involved. Now, I believe the difficulty settings are Human, Devil Hunter, and Sons of Sparta. We played on Devil Hunter, but and that's because if I remember correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dion, Human would like kind of string the combos together for you, sort of kind of, and make that pretty easy. While Devil Hunter, you have to put it together yourself.
The forum said don't play on Human, so that's what we did.
Always pay attention to your local forums. Sons of Sparta, though, I don't think that unlocks till after you beat either difficulty, right?
Correct. So we didn't play Sons of Sparta. I just kind of wanted to note it here. Really, what we need to talk about in general is the accessibility of that. You're right. Human was a level where it actually strings that, like you're saying, the combos and how it makes it work. I don't know if I feel comfortable saying that that's a great thing. But it definitely made the game a lot more accessible for people who needed that. It made the game, if you really just want to play through the story and understand, which, I feel Devil May Cry, the story is not really what they're going for, but if you were looking for that, you definitely could play it at Human and have an easy time and have combos. I don't know how easy it is. I haven't played on that level, but I'm assuming it was. I think Devil Hunter was a fine difficulty, though. It felt very balanced, and you had to learn the moves, and I thought that was way more appropriate.
Yeah, definitely. One of the things that I know that we overall agree with, but are kind of a little split on to an extent, are is the revive system, specifically red orbs versus using gold diamond things. We're just gonna say orbs anyway.
Yeah. So the orbs. The orbs and reviving. So this is my issue with the system. I like the red orbs and how it gets your skills. And if you could use the red orbs to just revive, and that was the only option, it gives you a risk versus, like, you're losing something to revive, right? You're losing something to beat that boss. And, I can't get these skills later. Well, that is a hard decision. But when you're just got these gold orbs that they just hand out to you like candy, why not revive? I would always revive. Why not? At the first part of the game, I didn't use it. I didn't understand if it was used for something else. I knew the red orbs were used for something else, but I didn't know if the gold orbs were. So I was like, whoa, wait a minute. I don't want to use these orbs. Once I found out I could just revive, I was like, oh, wait a minute. Revive. I just felt, it cheapens the experience a little bit. And you had to find them, right? but you also, if you logged on daily, you got them, and I thought that was a problem. If they only gave us a few of them, it wouldn't have been bad. But my experience, or in our experience playing through, we just got so many that you could just storm through the game and revive through the bosses, even if you sucked. And I don't think that's the way it should be.
Yeah. Now, I'm not entirely sure if Sons of Sparta kind of blocks it off from you and whatnot, but the fact that you could just, log in, yes, I said log in, and get a login reward for, just, checking into the game, and then you get the gold diamond orb thingy, the revive item. I think that's a bit much.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have as much of a problem with those specifically, in the sense of, if someone's just really not good at this game, those items won't matter. But at the same time, it does dampen the challenge when I can literally be like, okay, I'm having a hard time fighting, spoiler alert, Virgil. Yeah, I know, he's back again, boys. If I'm having a hard time fighting him and whatnot, and he's just cleaning my clock and whatnot, I could just keep reviving. And I think it'd be different if it was like, if I use a revive, he also gets some health back. I think that could have been a cool.
Oh,
if
that's
you're gonna
cool
do that,
off.
That would have helped. That would have helped, considering how many you would have. There would be a give. There would be a give and take. Well, maybe not give and take. It would be more like, okay, you get to heal a bit, I get to heal a bit. I'm not sure. Again, I'm not sure Sons of Sparta blocks that part off altogether, but I just know that I definitely agree with Deion when he says that the red orb should have been the main thing you would use if you're gonna have a revive mechanic. It should have been those, and they get more expensive whenever you use them to revive. So I feel like you could have just had that and left it at that. I'm not saying there can't be revives in this game. I'm just saying that have a bit of a caveat to it. That would have been fine.
Just balance it.
Yeah, it's too easy to get them. I had like 10 at one point, and Deion had like 20. It was ridiculous. But with that, this has gone on long enough. Let's wrap this up with our final thoughts. Deion?
So my final thoughts, this is the perfect entry point if you're new to Devil May Cry series. I know you missed out on this nostalgia, because I missed out on the nostalgia, obviously, but I really just enjoyed playing the, I didn't know I was going to like Devil May Cry. I've heard the reviews were good. I was like, let's play it. Great game as an entry level, as entry person coming into the game. I thought they did a phenomenal job, and I recommend this. If you haven't played Devil May Cry, I really want to see what it's about, this is a good place to jump in.
Yeah, definitely. Now, of course, you do miss out on some of the character relations, between Dante, Trish, and Lady, and etc. But but if you don't really care about that much, or do you just care about the overarching narrative and whatnot, this game you don't need to play the other Devil May Cry games to enjoy it, as you can see with Deion. But the game is a lot of fun. I really did enjoy it. So I hope that if you guys decide to play it too, you enjoy it as well. With that, we're just going to wrap this up here. I'm Daryl. That's Deion. And thank you for queuing up with us. See you next time.
Bye.